It's no secret that shows in the early 2000s were unhinged. It's a whole subgenre on YouTube to talk about them, and I eat it up every single time. Popcorn bowl in hand, but barely eating it because my jaw is too busy being on the ground. Biggest Loser? Who the Fuck? Mansers, which will fully turn you into a lesbian, and Playing It Straight, where you guess who the gay man is?
Some of these old rugged riders like a different rodeo.
Okay, wait. I sometimes understand the argument of times just being different. But goddamn, I am so glad that we have come as far as we have. Humor nowadays is more than just being offensive. Times really were just so different. More like people were stupider. If women, disabled people, or the LGBTQIA+ community wasn't the butt of a joke, you could expect to hear a bunch of crickets. Where do you think 1,000 Ways to Die, fits in with all of this? Yes. 1,000 Ways to Die was a show that first aired in 2008 on Spike TV and ended its run in 2012. It's a show about, well, different strange ways of dying, often very reliable sources.
The wind is blowing against the side of the tent, and it's probably trying to push the side of the tent over.
Come in to explain how the death could absolutely happen. Kind of a Pawn Stars method, except most of these people are kind of just like, hi.
And if you're over 21, you're pretty much done at these kind of places because it's all about young, tight, and bubbles in the right places.
Yes, that was Trisha Paytas. I don't know what show she hasn't been in at this point. Each death is given a comedic name with a pun and a tale on why they are a bad person. Except sometimes their trait is just being a lesbian. Not exactly all of them have negative attributes, but the majority do, because nobody wants to sit and watch a 20-minute show about good people having very morbid deaths. There are actually a lot of things I didn't remember about this show until I put it on, and I want to talk about it today because, sure, it's a dark show in general, but there's also some deep lore about the show behind the scenes. Let's talk about the sponsor of today's video and get on with it. Today's video is sponsored by ZocDoc, which is very fitting for a video about death. Have you ever been lying in bed, doom scrolling about a weird, sudden symptom and everything is telling you that you're about to die? Or worse, that you have to step into an urgent care? I am someone who hyperfixates on my health, and sure, this could be a good thing, but it's also a huge anxiety factor since anything will freak me out. I have gotten better with it after realizing that Google is just not always my friend, but when it's 1 a.m. and I have a very strange pain in my chest, the urge to start planning my funeral really creeps up. Imagine though, if once those symptoms start, you could book an appointment with a doctor, someone who is in network and has availability within the next day or two, while being a great fit overall. We all know how painful it is when you are finally motivated to get yourself checked out, but offices are just not taking new patients. With ZocDoc, ease in finding care could absolutely be your reality. ZocDoc is a free website where you can easily search for doctors that are right for you. No guesswork or phone calls needed. There are tons of verified patient reviews and profiles for the doctors as well, so that you can be aware of who you're visiting. From mental health to dental, eye care to skincare, they have your back. So stop putting off your doctor's appointments and visit ZocDoc.com/AliTricasso or click the link in the description box below. Thank you, ZocDoc, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on with death. The question that everyone who knows this show has had: are the deaths real? At the beginning of each episode, you get a disclaimer.
Warning. The stories portrayed in this show are based on real deaths and are extremely graphic.
As the kid I was, I completely took this at face value, as well as a lot of other people. I genuinely thought that these were deaths I had to look out for in the future, because yes, I was going to swallow a pool table ball as a party trick, as we all have done. The answer is yes. But no, I know, not the answer that you want to hear. The deaths portrayed are mostly based on situations that could happen. The dramatic license can get you pretty far. Based on a true story, technically is not illegal, even if completely false. It can be argued with, well, it's fictional. The dramatic license allows you to completely alter reality to do nearly whatever you want to make something more entertaining. Can you still be sued by someone who's not okay with the alteration of their story? Yes. But just saying it's real, it's not illegal. So because these deaths could happen, or something kind of similar has happened in the past, based on a true story. Hence why I say yes and no, because there are real stories that are talked about, but so many of them are just stretched for entertainment that they're not really real. Also, no, they did not reach 1,000 Ways to Die. They only ended up airing 518 deaths, heavily repeating numbers at that: 47, 105, 213, 246, 284, 293, 325, 330, 355, and 444 were all used for 2 separate deaths. Also, the number 412 was used for 6 different deaths. So yeah, nah, that's bullshit. Spike TV in general was a mess. It was rebranded from a country media network, which is very interesting and random, and was turned to a network for men. If you're a woman, get the fuck out of here. Go play with your tampons or, whatever you do for fun. M for manly. The network just announced that they are developing a new late night show that focuses on man formation for the true guy's guy. They are especially interested in shows that might cash in on the Tiger Woods controversy. Sounds like a perfect man cave viewing. You want to make a show about men cheating on their wives? Sounds about right. Spike TV produced a book to provide their employees in order to immerse them into the network's vision. What are some things that you could find in this book? Get more action. Whether it's horsepower, bikinis, explosions, crime, vampires. Seems kind of just Vegas, video games, ninjas. High-speed chases, body slams, shootouts, extreme sports, or good old-fashioned beatdowns. Spike is the place guys go for supercharged, original action-infused entertainment. Okay. Could be worse, but let's keep looking. Spike is unapologetically male. We know. Enough is enough. You've been PC'd. By the way, that means politically corrected. To death. Doesn't it just suck when you call a woman a dishwasher and someone tells you not to? Spike isn't here to preach or tell you how to live your lives. That's what wives and girlfriends are for.
Oh, brother, this...
Oh, God, I'm done. I know this video is not about Spike TV, but I really just wanted to set the scene for what to expect when watching 1,000 Ways to Die. I mean it when I say that there are some insane episodes. Ones that I 100% cannot and do not feel comfortable talking about on here, involving several episodes about bestiality, necrophilia, and insane fetish content. So I'm just gonna talk about the most memorable stories that I can talk about, and then we're going to move on to the downfall of the show. I recorded my friends and I watching this episode because I knew how insane it was going to be, and I needed a raw reaction. A man eats some mushrooms by himself in the desert. Fantastic start. I know.
He asked the bushes for an answer and got nothing.
Why are you dirty?
And got dirty.
It then cuts to furries, and I say furries, furries in the desert having a group session of 18 plus activities.
Oh, whoa, whoa! Is that Big Bird?
The man watches this happen and wants to get involved. An expert, like all of the deaths, pops in to give his 2 cents.
A furry orgy is often known as a fur pile.
Something this show loves to do is make really bad puns while telling the story, and this is a perfect example of that.
But the cock shooed Randy away with his pecker.
Alright.
After being denied by the furries. Crazy sentence. He happens to look at another one in the distance all by themselves, but that happens to be an actual bear. Naturally, when this man puts his hand on the bear attacks him. Lesson learned, I guess. This one is still the reason that I'm still pretty terrified to go on a slip and slide. A girl and her boyfriend. Yes, that is Jennifer Lawrence. They like to pull hop during the summertime. This house had some construction going on in the backyard, which made it pretty unsafe to play around near. The boyfriend starts to mess around a little bit, be pretty irresponsible.
Put it down!
Let's hope not.
She has really come a long way in her acting journey. He decides to set up a slip and slide which goes right into the pool, and unbeknownst to them, a nail was sticking out under it. This is going exactly where you think. The nail cuts him right in the gut while sliding on it. Our expert comes in and explains how this could absolutely happen and cause this insane death. When I'm sure, without a script and cameras on, that he might say something different. When you ask someone about a death that they remember from this show, this one is typically top 3 because of how crazy the concept is. A woman decides to get chest implants after deciding to become a pole dancer. Yep, this show was made for frat boys. That's for sure. She finds the cheapest procedure that she can, and he just does it right then and there for her. No preparation. It then cuts to 2 weeks later, where she is getting on the flight, which has every man looking at her, cause boob big. The flight takes off, and because of the altitude change, something starts going very wrong. Apparently, the doctor used poor quality implants, and they're pretty much just water balloons. Boob get bigger. Everyone starts looking at her because there is a bubbling noise coming from the implants, and they just keep getting larger and larger. This guy starts smiling and holding back laughter because of how dumb this looks.
That stripper's gonna bomb in her chest!
Oh my god. 3 things real quick. 1, there is no one on that plane. 2, this guy doesn't give a gaff. 3, you can see that the boobs are not attached to her. Cinema. Boob explode. This one has absolutely been debunked, but it's just too golden not to talk about. I was never interested in waterbeds because of this episode. In fact, I've always been terrified of waterbeds because of this episode. After a crazy night out for New Year's Eve, this man woke up restrained to the bed. To show how wild and chaotic the night was, it just keeps showing clips of all of them sipping on some nice cold Coca-Cola. After reminiscing about the night, he realizes, shit. I'm stuck. And while trying to wiggle his way out, the waterbed gets popped with his heel, causing him to slowly sink into the bed, getting covered with water and slowly drowning. The 2 girls that he had fun with the night before are definitely liable, gotta say that. That is evil behavior. Who did they think was gonna get him out? So, big fuck that. Whenever I think about waterbeds, this will come to mind every single time. 1,000 Ways to Die naturally faced criticism. The biggest one being that they implied that the victims deserved to die. And don't get me wrong, some of them did. But a man violating a woman's privacy by peeping in her window while undressed was set up in the same way and tone as a girl going on a date with another girl and getting electrocuted because her shoes were off. Because it was a show made by men, for men. The women were extremely and grossly sexualized and used as props, which just gives the show a really bad and strange vibe when you dive deep into it. Anytime that lesbians were brought up, it was always sex-related situations, which is obviously just heavy fetishization. And if a woman was the victim, it was near always sexual to be entertaining for men that wanted big boob. In general, though, it's not too different from something like Final Destination. When you take aside the subtle homophobia and severe misogynistic energy, why did 1,000 Ways to Die end? Exactly. In 2012, the show was averaging 1.6 million viewers, which was really impressive for the time. So what could possibly be the reason? What did you say? That staff was being mistreated, which led them to going on strike? Damn. Am I shocked? After over 24 crew members wanted to become unionized, their positions were revoked, leading to a strike as they were not being paid the proper amount, working extremely long hours, and had a lack of health benefits. Once the positions were unable to be filled, they closed the show up for good in 2012. There's another form of criticism that I have seen, and I think it is extremely, extremely valid, and I agree. Is not fucking okay, and that is the way that they went about real, actual deaths that they wanted to recreate. There are specific stories in the show that have a direct correlation, and it feels like an absolute mockery about the situation. Gary Hoy was a lawyer in a high-rise office building who would put on tours for law students and interns. He was extremely respected and very successful in the firm. Because the building was intimidating to newcomers, he would push himself into the windows to demonstrate that it was completely safe and to lessen some of that stress. In 1993, when giving a tour and attempting to demonstrate the windows like he had countless times before, it gave out and he fell to his death 24 floors high. His death was so devastating to the law firm that 3 years after, it closed down. In the episode that depicts his death, the man is an arrogant shithead that makes women feel uncomfortable with ease. He tries to impress the woman attorneys with his bravery while slamming into the windows. This specific time, the window cracks and he falls through. The girl Loki looks happy about it, but he was a perv. So I get it. So when you compare the two, it's quite upsetting to know that they took a good man's accident and turned it into a comedic, predatory twist. Gary Hoy was so cared about that it affected an entire business. It just feels wrong to twist it that way. Clarabelle Lansing was a flight attendant for Aloha Airlines, and during an airplane mishap that caused a tear on the side of the plane, the roof and walls of the cabin tore away while 24,000 feet in the air. She was thrown out with the air pressure change, which caused a suction motion. No oxygen was being provided to the masks that dropped from above for other passengers, and they were all exposed to negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 45 degrees Celsius. No one else died in the landing. 65 people were injured in the accident, and Clarabelle's body was never found. She was a senior flight attendant and said to be extremely friendly and helpful, and based on what eyewitnesses said, it was extremely devastating and traumatic to see, as it wasn't an instant thing. Of course, though, 1,000 Ways to Die depicts her as a complete asshole. She becomes agitated by everyone's existence and extremely hates her job.
Can I please have a pillow?
No, you may not. Thank you very much.
That's crazy. She just starts throwing shit around and acting like a dick until the ceiling of the plane flies off and she is sucked up and thrown out of the plane. It's just another example of a really great person's tragic experience twisted up for the vibe of the show.
She's a very sweet lady, easy to work with, and she'll be very much missed.
And when you twist it for the plot and entertainment, it's just really insensitive to those who were directly involved, whether it was someone that knew the person or someone that was there to see what happened. There has been a push from 1,000 Ways to Die fans for a reboot, but from what I found, it's just not gonna happen. People claiming that it's in the process, you know, but there's no evidence for it. One of the supposed reboot's names is called Deadly Games, and another called 1,000 Ways to Lie, which actually did get a pilot episode. But it was so bad that nothing more came out of it. Instead of deaths, it was based on crimes. 1,000 Ways to Die was just one of those shows that was mainly successful because of the time that it came out. The majority of shows back then would just not work in 2026. Naturally, of course. I mean, it was almost 20 years ago, if you wanna cry real quick with me. The show was just so bad that it was good, but there are plenty of fair criticisms that I absolutely agree with. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, like, subscribe, hype it up. That's a new thing. My social media will be in the description below, and if you did not notice, I have a little bit of a new setup. It's kind of similar vibe. I mean, it's all the same stuff. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well with the new year. I had a lot of life stuff thrown at me, so I haven't been posting as much as I wanted to, but slowly I'm gonna get my mojo back up. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good one. Bye!